Welcome to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group, your source for solutions to live a stress-free retirement. Good morning. I got Michael White and Doug Rodwell here.
Morning, Michael.
Good morning. It's
nice, cool morning.
yeah.
Supposed to have a cold front blow through, I think, later and get a little chilly tonight, but it's going to be a good day.
Yep. And I know that OSU's got the week off. Do you know if OU's playing this week?
It's funny you should ask. There's some good games today. I'm telling you, Alabama, LSU. You follow Bama and LSU much?
No.
They say that the one thing that LSU and the Moon have in common is that they both control the tide. TCU, Kansas State today, later today, and Texas, West Virginia, Baylor and OU play, and A&M and Auburn. So that's going to be a fun day of football.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a good show for you today. We're going to talk a little business up front here. We're going to talk a little bit about long-term care and some of the options you got available to you. And then I know you're probably getting tired of hearing a whole lot about Medicare, but it's an important time of year, and that's why we're touching on it. And it's important to a lot of seniors, a lot of retirees, and just another piece of that puzzle of putting together that stress-free retirement. So we're going to focus not so much on exactly how Medicare works, but Medicare Advantage and Medicare prescription drug plans and why those two things are important to this time of year. But Doug, let's jump into Medicare. Right now is Medicare annual enrollment period, or annual election period, some people will call it, and it's running from October 15th through December 7th.
If any of our listeners are near age 65, then you already know that because you've been just have a barrage of information in your mailbox of pamphlets, of brochures. And in fact, that reminds me of a client of ours. We went to her house to talk to her about her Medicare supplement, and she went to a drawer and pulled out a whole stack of catalogs that she's been getting in the mail. And the thing she told us was, I don't need any more information. What I need is an explanation of the information that I already have.
Yeah.
So, that's our job, is to clear up all the mysteries and all the questions that people have.
Absolutely. And so why is this annual election period important? And really, who does it affect? It affects really everybody that's on Medicare. But more specifically, it's for people that have Medicare Advantage plans or want to get a Medicare Advantage plan, or someone who has a Medicare supplement and a prescription drug plan. It's that prescription drug plan that you can change during this time of year. So really, no matter which route you've gone with Medicare, it's important to review your coverage right now. This is the time to make changes.
And I know that we are limited on what we can say over the air by the government. We'd be glad to disclose anything anyone wanted to know about Medicare Advantage, but they restrict us in some form or fashion. But what can we tell?
I'll say I'm willing to push some boundaries. Do you want to ask me some questions?
Well, what is a Medicare Advantage plan? Because that's what we're seeing on TV all the time right now. United Healthcare is advertising. Humana, Blue Cross Blue
Cross
Shield
is being real big. There's been a lot of changes in the Medicare Advantage market here in Oklahoma City. Most people that have Advantage plans right now are already aware of that. They've received their plan changes, the summary of benefits in the mail. I think the insurance companies have to have that to you by October 1st. But a big shakeup in the Medicare Advantage market. Some companies that previously had $0 plans per month, they increased their plans to now there is a monthly premium, and that's affecting a lot of people, and as well as networks. Most Medicare Advantage plans, in fact, all Medicare Advantage plans that are HMOs or PPOs have networks that you have to go to. You have to use those network doctors, especially on the HMOs. And some of the bigger plans around here have lost some of the big hospitals. In fact, Deaconess has been hit really hard. Some of the bigger plans dropped the Deaconess network off their plan, and it's left a lot of people looking for new doctors. And so,
or maybe looking for a new plan.
Exactly.
That does have Deaconess.
Well, and unfortunately, a lot of those doctors were dropped in the middle of the year, so they were forced to find new doctors in the middle of the plan year. So anyway, you originally asked me, what is a Medicare Advantage plan? And what it does is it's an all-in-one plan that provides all of the same benefits that original Medicare does, and that's your Medicare Part A and B. It provides all the same benefits plus some additional benefits. And one of the biggest differences is that you can get very low, as low as $0 a month, a premium to have on these plans. Sometimes there is a premium, and they provide extra services for you, like some dental, some vision, some hearing. It's getting real popular to get some over-the-counter type benefits where they'll give you a card with some money loaded on it to go buy stuff over the counter, your aspirin, your real big thing is vitamins.
So can you have a Medicare supplement and a Medicare Advantage?
No, you cannot. That is not allowed. So it's one or the other.
Why would, tell us then, or tell our listeners, why would they want to pay for a Medicare supplement if they can get a Medicare Advantage plan for zero premium?
It really comes down to their personal health status. If someone's got a whole lot of medical issues and they're in and out of the hospital a lot and maybe going to the doctor a whole lot, things like that, sometimes a Medicare supplement makes more sense because with a Plan F Medicare supplement, there's no out-of-pocket cost. You're paying a higher monthly premium, but you're using it without having to pay copays. On an Advantage plan, you're going to have to pay those copays every time you use it. Now, does that make Advantage plans not good in a scenario like that? Absolutely not. There's a thing called a maximum out-of-pocket. And what a maximum out-of-pocket is that's the most amount of money you could possibly have to pay in a calendar year for your medical benefits. So if you had a really bad year while on a Medicare Advantage plan, there is a stop loss. And it can get as low as about a $3,000 per year maximum out of pocket, which is really reasonable. As high as $6,700, I think, is the highest there is.
So what I'm hearing is that the Medicare supplements, you pay a premium, a monthly premium, but you don't have copays.
That with a Plan F, correct?
With a Plan F. And Medicare Advantage, it's possible to not have a premium, but you do have to pay copay. So there's the trade-off there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah. And some of the benefits of Advantage Plan also is that people think of networks as a bad thing, but a lot of times it's nice because they can coordinate your care. They can keep all your information together within their network, and doctors know what's going on when you go to one doctor to the next. They can help give you better care. There are services provided inside of the network where they can help get you better referrals. They know what's going on with you, and it makes your care a little bit better. During this AEP, we call it annual election period, it's a time to review it. So in the second half of the show, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We'd like to try to do that. We like to talk a little business and then a little bit of fun, kind of mix it in a little bit. So the second half, we're going to talk a little bit about social media and retirees, or really the boomers. It's starting to become more and more of a popular thing to do, is getting on these social medias. We'll talk a little bit about that. And
I'm looking forward to that. I may learn something.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. Today we're going to be talking about the hybrid long-term care policy. So several weeks ago, we had a guest on our show by the name of Kevin Turner. He's in with our office, and he's a long-term care planning specialist. And we talked about all different kinds of planning tools for long-term care. One in particular was these hybrid long-term care policies. So today we really want to focus on those and kind of how they work and what place they fit into a retirement plan. Sure.
And I think first of all, long-term care planning does not always involve an insurance policy. Yep. It's typically, the best way to go, the cheapest way to go, but it doesn't have to involve an insurance policy. And there's a misconception out there by a lot of folks that if they have long-term care, they've got to go into a nursing home.
Yeah.
And that's a myth that, we'll talk about as well, that most of the benefits that are paid out in a long-term care policy are in-home care.
Absolutely.
Because most people want to stay in their home. They don't want to leave their family. They don't want to leave their surroundings. And only, I think the typical stay in a nursing home is like
2.8 years or something like that. It's 2 point something years.
And the reason is because most of the payments that are made out of one of those policies is at home care. And it isn't until right at the end when somebody is really, really.
And one of the things we run into occasionally are people rely on that statistic of how long the regular nursing home stay is for most people, the 2+ years, and they'll go out and then buy themselves a long-term care policy for 2 years and forget that the majority of care is given in the home before you ever actually make it to the nursing home.
Right.
If you ever make it there at all. So, well,
exactly.
Let's kind of jump into some of the reasons people don't buy traditional long-term care, and I don't want to beat it up. It's a great thing to have, but some of the complaints we hear from people are, "What if I never use it? It's too expensive," things like that. And so, and these are some valid arguments, and it's kind of the reason that the insurance industry has created these hybrid products is because they've recognized that people aren't buying these traditional long-term care policies like they used to. And a couple of reasons for that is the premiums have gotten more expensive. The boomers are aging. The nursing homes are filling up, if you want to call it that. And these insurance companies that started selling these policies a long, long time ago are realizing people never dropped these plans. They bought them, they kept them, and they kept them until they needed them. And now these insurance companies are paying out a lot of claims.
And people are living longer too.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. That
Absolutely.
the life expectancy is increasingly gets longer and longer.
Absolutely. And just because we're living longer doesn't mean that we're necessarily living better. We're living longer with medical issues or physical issues that can cause you to need to go into some kind of facility or need help, even if it's at your house. And so the premiums on traditional long-term care policies are getting more expensive. And not only that, people who already have long-term care policies are seeing rate increases. And these rate increases are pretty significant.
I just had one. I own, my wife and I both have a long-term care policy, and we just got a 20% rate increase.
Yeah.
But, you just got to make the decision. Do you want to keep it, pay the increase, or drop it and let it go?
Yeah.
And so
really the other route that people go if they're not going to buy insurance is to self-insure. They may not think that's what they're doing, but if you don't have anything in place to pay for someone else to pay for it, you're self-insuring. That means you're gonna go into your money first, and you're gonna pay dollar for dollar what it costs until you run out of money, and then hope that the state picks up from there. So what these hybrid policies are, they're kind of this. They're truly a hybrid. They're a mix between self-insuring and insurance. And really, in general, what you're doing is you're taking a chunk of money that you have maybe earmarked for what if I go to a nursing home, and leveraging that into a larger bucket of money.
Or maybe what we call dusty, lazy old money sitting in the bank, not earning much interest. You can move it over into these accounts, get a competitive interest rate, and you can leverage your money 2 or 3 times what you put in it.
Absolutely. So, example, someone who's in their early 60s, mid 60s, they got $50,000 sitting in a CD that they really don't have any purpose for. They don't plan on spending it. Don't really know what to do with it. You could reposition that money into one of these hybrid type products and turn that $50,000 into $200,000 for the purpose of long-term care. So really, you're self-insuring the first $50,000 you put into it, and then the insurance company is going to leverage that and maybe give you another $150,000, triple your money for you. So these one thing that's kind of unique about these is, well, let's go back to one of the complaints is, what if I never use it? And that's one of the neat things about these hybrid policies is that somebody's going to get the benefit one way or another. And they kind of market these on the idea of live, die, or quit, which is kind of a neat deal, that if you continue to live, you're going to have a long-term care benefit that's going to pay for you if you need assistance at the home, a nursing home, assisted living. And one thing we don't talk a whole lot about is there's even programs like adult daycares where you just get assistance during the day rather than all day long. And so if you continue to live, you've got long-term care insurance. If you decide to quit and you want to get out of it, I don't want this anymore, they will give you all your money back. We're seeing some companies starting to put time periods on it where you need to keep it for so many years, but generally you can still get these policies to where day one you can say, never mind, I want my money back, and they'll write you a check for exactly what you put into it. So you can get your money's liquid, you can get it back anytime you want. And then lastly, if you die, there's a life insurance death benefit that's built into it, which is pretty neat. So whether you live, whether you die, or whether you quit, either you or somebody else is going to be getting the money out of this contract. And
which is why those are becoming so popular now, rather than the individual long-term care policies.
And typically on these, there's not any additional premiums that go into them. And even the ones that do have additional premiums going into them, most of them guarantee the premiums that they will never go up. So there's some that you just put a chunk of money into and you never do anything with it again. There are others you maybe put a smaller chunk of money into it, but then you pay a monthly premium or an annual premium to continue it going on. And if that's the scenario, they'll guarantee you that your rates will never go up, which is pretty neat. So we're gonna keep talking about this. We got a lot of information we'll be talking about, but I want to give out our contact information. So if you've got any questions about this, or if you'd like to sit down and talk to somebody about these hybrid products, or say maybe you even have a traditional long-term care policy you've had for a long time, you want someone to review it, go over it with you, let you know what benefits you have, whether or not you have home care or not. Because some of the older policies didn't have that. You had to go into a facility of some sort to get care. Let us review that for you. You can give us a call at 405-310-0098. Again, that's 405-310-0098. You can also reach us on our website at www.okfingroup.com. We've got all kinds of information on there. We'll be right back with you.
Coffee time.
Yep, go get a cup of coffee. We really appreciate you listening with us. We'll be right back after these messages, and we'll continue to talk about these long-term care hybrid products. You are listening to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group. Welcome back to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group, your source for solutions to live a stress-free retirement. Good morning, Michael White and Doug Rodwell.
Hey, during the break, I got to looking at next week's weather.
Uh-huh.
And they're saying we actually have a chance of snow on Friday.
I'm not quite ready for that.
I am definitely not ready for that, but that's crazy.
I was, it's crazy that we're already talking about possible snow. During black powder season, I was out sitting in the blind, and it was like 85 degrees. I was like being cooked in an oven.
And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big swing. All right, this morning we're talking about long-term care and some of the solutions to providing for long-term care scenarios where you need to either have someone come in the house or you're headed off to a long-term care facility of some sort. And let
me jump in here just for a second. One thing that we find is that this particular area of conversation is the hardest thing for people to take action on.
Absolutely.
And part of it is because of the policies, and they don't want to spend the money on something that they may never use. Mm-hmm. Life insurance, that's inevitable. You're going to use that. But long-term care, there's a chance that you won't ever use it, and they don't want to lose all that money. So as a result, people will acknowledge that, that's a concern, but I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. That's one of the beauties of these hybrid products is it kind of addresses that issue. What if I never use it? It will be used in one form or fashion. But Doug brings up a good point that this isn't a fun conversation to have. Typically, the people that we come across that are more open to talking about it are someone who's been through a long-term care scenario, probably with their parents or possibly grandparents. I know Doug's actually dealing with it right now. His mother-in-law's possibly going to a facility today.
Could be.
She had to have hip surgery, and she's in the hospital and on her way to a facility later on today, I believe.
Yeah, and she's been blessed with pretty good health up to now. She's 93 years old and slipped and fell, and now is going to need some care.
Yeah, and it's not a pleasant conversation to have, but when you've got something in place that's going to take care of you for a scenario, just like what Doug's mother-in-law is about to go through, it makes all the difference. And so we encourage you to have that conversation, whether with us or somebody else. It's a conversation that needs to be had and something that needs to be considered. We can talk about fun stuff when it's all over with, but it's an important topic to talk about.
I'll tell you what, why don't I give an example? You mentioned it in the earlier segment, but if you decide that you don't want it anymore, you can get all your money back.
Absolutely.
So it literally is a no-risk opportunity.
Yeah. One of the ways I kind of tell people, it's like we're taking money out of one pocket and put it in the other pocket. We're not locking it up. We're not saying you can never access it again. We're not spending it. One of the things that we talk about when we talk about buying something, typically when you buy something, you spend the money. The money's gone. In this situation, we're not spending the money. We're really just reallocating it into a vehicle that's designed to help you in a long-term care scenario. It provides life insurance, and of course, it's still liquid. You can get right to it if you need to, which is a pretty neat deal, and it's pretty unique. It's a neat solution for the people.
Well, you work your whole life and accumulate some money, some retirement accounts, and the last thing you want to do is spend it on long-term care providers and I don't know, assisted care facilities or anything like that.
Yeah. And one of the things I want our listeners to remember is we are independent. We work with several different companies. In fact, some of the leaders in these types of policies are companies like Lincoln Life. You've probably heard of Lincoln.
Lincoln?
They've been around a couple of years. Pacific Life. You see those TV commercials with the whale jumping out of the water. That's Lincoln. That's Pacific Life. Genworth, great company. In fact, the numbers we were telling you about just a minute ago was a Genworth long-term care policy, long-term care hybrid policy. Then, of course, there's another company out there called One America, and they've been around a really long time. In fact, they were kind of pioneers in this area about 20 years ago. They started showing these first hybrid products, and they're really just now getting popular. So when we come back, we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about something a lot different. We're going to be talking about social media and retirees, the boomer age, which hopefully ought to be quite a bit of fun. Let me give you our phone number, 310-0098. Our website is okfingroup.com. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about anything that you'd really want to talk about, especially in the financial and insurance world. We'll be right back.
I'm going to want your football picks when we get back, too.
All right. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about social media for retirees. You are listening to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group. And, of course, this is KZLS, The Eagle. Welcome back to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group, your source for solutions to live a stress-free retirement. Got Doug Rodwell, Michael White here. Welcome back.
Michael, got a couple questions for you regarding football.
Before we left, you said you were going to make me pick.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And let's bet $1 on each game, and I'll let you pick.
Can I ask my wife if that's okay first?
Alabama, LSU.
I'm going to have to go with Alabama.
Alabama, okay. They're playing at LSU.
Ooh.
I'm going to be pulling for Bama. My dad was a Bama boy, so I grew up an Alabama fan. But I don't know. LSU's pretty tough to beat down there. All right, TCU, Kansas State.
Ooh. I think I'm going to have to go with Kansas State.
Kansas State, huh?
TCU's got a heck of a team, though.
That's going to be a good game.
That is going to be a good game.
Undefeated versus one loss. Texas, West Virginia.
I'm going to have to go with West Virginia. I'd sure like to see Texas win, but I think West Virginia will get them.
Okay. Baylor and OU.
This is a tough deal here. I don't want to get in trouble from our listeners here.
Hey, you probably got as many out there who want OU to win as want them to lose.
I'm going to go with OU.
Okay.
Baylor's got a great team, though. That could go either way really easy.
And last but not least, A&M and Auburn.
Well, I'm never going to root for A&M, so I'm Auburn.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll give the results next week, but you got Alabama, Kansas State, West Virginia, OU, and Auburn.
I tell you what, this is a good segue into what we're going to be talking about next. We're going to be talking about social media and retirees. And I tell you what, Oklahoma Financial Group has a Facebook page, if that means anything to you. And we'll put our bets there on our Facebook page and maybe even start a conversation about who's going to win. And maybe we could get some trash talking going on.
Well, I can do that.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about social media and retirees and the boomer generation. Social media has become almost too involved in our world, I think, these days. But it can be a really good tool. And what I want to do is acknowledge the advances that are being made in this retiree 50 and older group of people and their involvement in social media.
How long has Facebook been around?
Well, this will date me a little bit, but when I was in college, I was going to Texas Tech University, and Facebook was brand new. Texas Tech was one of the first colleges to be able to get Facebook, because Facebook used to, you had to be a college student. That was the only people that could get on Facebook, college students. And I was
I didn't know that.
One of the first schools that got Facebook, and that was back in 2003. So Facebook turned 10 years old a year ago, which is kind of crazy, because in the age of computers and everything, a 10-year-old internet company, that's old. that they're still up and kicking. They're doing pretty good.
Well, I just got on it a couple years ago, and I'm 59 years old. I have 3 kids, 2 grandkids. Tell me how people in my situation can benefit from it. And then I'll, after you do that, then I'll tell you my story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, social media can do so many things and a lot of good things. And one of the ways for the retiree group, I'm just going to say 50 and up group, that's who we're going to be really talking to, is staying in touch. That's the biggest thing, is being able to stay in touch with children and grandchildren. And I know you're going to touch on it here in a little bit, but catching up with old friends, people you may not have talked to in a long time. And you may not have talked to them for a reason, but if you want to catch up with them, there's really good odds that they're on Facebook. There's a really good odds that they're on Facebook. In fact, got some statistics here from the Pew Internet Project that was back in August of last year that they did, and they compared the 50 and up crowd back in 2009 versus 2013 and the growth that had happened. So back in 2009, the majority of people under age 50 used social media, things like Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, while the people 50 and over didn't even bother with it. It was more of a younger crowd that hung out on these social media sites, really Facebook in general. And but today, 60% of people ages 50 to 64 use social media. I mean, that's over half, pushing 3/4. So 50 to 64 age group is now on Facebook, and that's up 24% since 2009.
I have a cousin who is 72 years old,
mm-hmm.
and she's on Facebook, and she lives down in Texas, and I've only seen her like once in the last 10 years. But we communicate on Facebook, and she posts pictures of her kids and grandkids, and I do the same thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, and the 65 and up crowd has really, really jumped up on Facebook. In fact, back in 2009, just 13% of that crowd was on Facebook, and now 43%. So 43% of 65 and older crowd is on social media of some sort, which is really cool, really neat to me. You okay there, Doug?
Water went down the wrong pipe.
So, Doug, tell us, well, first of all, following up with your children, your grandchildren, catching up with old friends, there are things called groups. We talked about our Facebook page for Oklahoma Financial Group. Groups are things where people of like mind. In fact, I'm really into homesteading, the going back to the old ways of farming and ranching and all that kind of thing. I'm on a group, this homesteading group, where people all over the state of Oklahoma that have the same interest I do, we share stuff. In fact, we've gotten to the point now where we trade things. I've been trading chickens with a guy out in Piedmont that I met through a Facebook group. People share recipes, all kinds of stuff. And so that's another way that people can use these, is get in groups and visit with people and share ideas with people that are like-minded. That's pretty neat. And
well, I just got back from my 40th high school reunion. It's really weird to say that, 40 years. But we have a group on Facebook, my high school. I went to a small school. We only had about 96 people graduated, but we communicate now. A lot of these people, until the reunion, I haven't seen them in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we all got together on Facebook, communicated, got the reunion put together, and my wife and I drove back down to Galveston Island and had a great time. But I don't know that we would have known about it if it wasn't for Facebook.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we haven't mentioned is, Doug, do you have any idea how many Facebook users there are on a monthly basis? And don't look at my cheat sheet notes.
Oh, I don't know. I would guess somewhere around 1.23 billion.
Hey, how'd you know? Did you say billion or million?
Is that right? Billion with a B.
Billion with a B, and you are absolutely correct. There are 1.2 billion with a B Facebook users each month. Those are active users. So they've got more users than that maybe don't get on every month. But active monthly users, 1.2 billion people. So we're not talking a small thing. This is a big thing. This is the way that our world is going, and you can deny it all you want, but that's the way it's going, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, one of the other reasons people get on social media is a way to stay up with the times. They check out news, see what other people are doing. In fact, I was reading some political updates today on my newsfeed on Facebook about some different things that are going on. And it's a good way of staying up with the times, especially as older media sources are starting to dwindle.
There is a lot of political stuff. Yeah. I'll just call it stuff on Facebook, but I get a lot of it. Primarily, well, I won't go into who they like or don't like, but the Facebook folks had a good day this past Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back, and we're going to talk more about social media and more in depth on different ways of accessing social media, maybe what you should watch out for, and learn how to use it, if you're not used to using it already. So let me get out our phone number. It's 405-310-0098. You can call us, of course, ask us anything you'd like to ask us. If you expect us to be the experts on Facebook, that's probably not going to be the case, but we can talk to you about just about anything else. Give us a call at 310-0098. You can also reach us at okfingroup.com. All of our contact information is there, our email addresses, so on and so forth. So we'll be back here in just a moment. We'll finish talking up about social media and talk about what's going to be coming up next week. We're pretty excited about our guest that's going to be coming. You are listening to Stress-Free Retirement provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group here on KZLS The Eagle. Welcome back to Stress-Free Retirement provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group, your source for solutions to live a stress-free retirement. Got Doug Rodwell, Michael White here. Welcome back. So we are talking about social media and the 50 and up crowd and really what that means for them. The people that have been on it probably already aware of the neat things that Facebook can do for you. The people that have been scared of it, I really would encourage you to at least try it out. But we're going to talk about some of the dangers of it today, ways of protecting yourself. But nowadays, social media is so easily accessible. We carry around phones now that are hundreds of times more powerful than what the first computers were. It's nowadays our phones, tablets, laptops, you name it. You can get on social media with it.
Is a tablet and an iPad the same thing?
Same thing. The iPad is a tablet. And nowadays, there's all kinds of tablets. Almost everybody what's the word? Technology company is out there making some kind. I mean, even Amazon and Google and all those people, they've got their own tablets that are out there. And so it's more accessible than it's ever been.
One of the dangers I can see is because when I get on Facebook, some people really put some stupid stuff on there. Yeah. And that just goes viral, right?
Once it's out there, there's no getting it back. Even if you think you hit the delete button, it's out there somewhere. Somebody saw it. So you got to be careful about what you're putting on there. And I would say that the people putting the stupid stuff out there probably isn't the 50 and up crowd for the most part. I'm sure there's some of them, but teenagers, that's something the teenagers really do have to watch. So, but in general, Facebook really is pretty safe. There's a couple things you want to do. That you want to make sure that you got a good, strong password when you sign up for Facebook, or if you've already got it, make sure you keep a good, strong password. You probably want to make sure that you have a decent virus protection on your computer, because it's awful that it happens, but people get you to click on different links, and some of those are viruses that are going to want to try to slow your computer down, or some aren't as vicious as they might sound, but it's important to have an updated virus protection of some sort. Of course, you never, this one times in the world that never means never. You never want to give out your personal information or financial information over something like Facebook. If someone's asking you for it, it's almost common sense. If you don't know them, don't be sharing your information with them, especially on things like Facebook or other social media sites. And this one seems kind of silly, but it's smart, especially this day and age with cell phones and everything else giving out GPS coordinates, whether you realize it or not. All it takes is you to say that you're excited about the vacation you're going on November 15th, and you're going to be out of town for 2 weeks, to let people that aren't so honest and let you know that your house is going to be empty for 2 weeks starting November 15th.
Yeah, so you don't want to give out that information either. You're almost inviting trouble.
Yeah. So that's another piece of advice on what not to do with Facebook is don't announce when you're going to be gone. Don't announce when you're going to be home by yourself. That's another one. That's kind of scary. And a lot of these different sites now have ways of checking in places, kind of announcing that I'm at McDonald's having coffee with all my buddies type thing. You don't really want to do that and let people know where you're at all the time. That's
I see that occasionally on mine, and I wonder, why do people think that others are even interested that they're having a cup of coffee right now?
That's the world we live in. Everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing and being plugged in. So, there are definitely some downsides to things like Facebook, but there really are so many benefits. And I know if it wasn't for Facebook, my parents who live down in Texas wouldn't see my grandkids' pictures anywhere near as often as they do. Their grandkids' pictures as often as they do. It's a good way to stay up, talk. A lot of these media sites now have ways for you to actually have real conversations computer face to face, where videos and you're actually video talking to each other. And we do that with my parents all the time, where they get to actually talk to the grandkids and get to visit with them. Grandkids
and
get
that's
to see
through
their face.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, Skype. There's all kinds of ways of doing that now.
Now, you see, I think that's a pretty unique and cool feature that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, if your grandkids live in another state and you don't get to see them very often, and you can just dial them up on Facebook and have a conversation with them, that is something that's
really
special.
neat. And we hear from a lot of people that when they retire, it's a whole new world. It's not so much a extended vacation as much as it is a career change. An extended vacation is going to get boring at some point, but thinking of it as a career change, this is what I do now for a living. You want to find ways of getting plugged in, be entertained, and these social media sites can provide a lot of that. They provide a lot of entertainment, a lot of connectivity, get to know new people, and which is something that we don't do a whole lot these days anymore. Everybody's on their Facebook, or there's not a whole lot of face-to-face talking anymore. And although Facebook can be the problem, it can also be a solution of meeting new people, just like my friend out in Piedmont that I met through Facebook. He's a good friend of mine now. And in fact, Doug and I took his hunting bus on a hunting trip. So Doug doesn't even know him, but he got the benefit from that relationship.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's done from Facebook.
Well, from a 50 and over guy, and my wife as well, we have really enjoyed getting in touch with, our high school friends, college buddies. It's just fun to see what people that you've known for 30, 40 years are doing. Mm-hmm. You can see pictures of their family. They can see pictures of your family. And it's I'm looking for the word. It's a very special way and it's easy to do. And it doesn't cost anything.
It's absolutely free.
It's absolutely free.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. One of the things that someone who is not on something like Facebook might be concerned about is, how do I use it? I know, Doug, when you first got on it, you didn't know up from down or left or right on Facebook, and I think I'm not
sure. I still know. I'm okay with it now, but I don't get on it. When I first got involved with Facebook, man, it was so unique and it was new, and I was almost addicted to it. Just I don't get on it quite as much anymore, but I do get on it probably daily, but not not 10 times a day like I used to.
Well, if you've never done it before, a good place to start, if you're going to be on Facebook, you probably already got a computer, you probably already use a computer. One of the quickest ways is to go to youtube.com, youtube.com, and just search for how to use Facebook. There are several tutorials out there that walk you through the process of learning how to use Facebook. And even people that have had Facebook for a while, every once in a while they do updates and they change where things are and how things work. There's always updates out there on YouTube. You can go watch a video and figure out how to use it. And of course, I know it's really not the business we're in, but we'd like to build a relationship with you anyway. We've got some PDFs that, which is just a document I can email out that has a step-by-step of how to sign up for Facebook, how to use it. And if that's something you'd like to do, you can email us. You can email me directly at michaelwhite@ffig.com. That's michaelwhit@ffig.com. Of course, you can call us at 310-0098, and our website is okfingroup.com, OKFIN.
Tell us about the show next week.
Next week, we are going to have a special guest. His name is Matt Jansen. He is a healthcare specialist, healthcare insurance specialist. That's really what he focuses on. That's what he does. He's very good at it, and he's going to come talk to us a little bit about Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, however you want to call it. So if you got questions about that, tune in next week. We'll be on with Matt Jansen talking a little bit about Obamacare. So thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You are listening to Stress-Free Retirement, provided by the Oklahoma Financial Group.
The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. On behalf of Doug Rodwell, advisory services are offered through Investment Advisors, a division of ProEquities, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through ProEquities, Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC. On behalf of Michael White, investment advisory services are offered through Red Hawk Wealth Advisors, Inc., an SEC-registered investment advisor. Both are Futurities First Insurance Group agents. Futurity First is independent.